Hello everybody, you're welcome to Islam Farm. Today is the night of our breeding journey and we carried out one of the most important tasks in poultry farming. Guess what? We are vaccinating against Newcastle disease and infectious bronchitis. These two diseases can spread very fast and are deadly. Newcastle can cause twisted necks, paralysis, respiratory issues, and even sudden death, while infectious bronchitis can affect their breathing and kidney, and it can also destroy your egg-laying potential later in life. You see this Newcastle and infectious bronchitis is one of the most dreaded diseases that a farmer, you will never wish a farmer, because this disease is capable of wiping a whole flock, up to 100% of your flock. And when it attacks, it affects the bird continuously for about 10 days. That is, during the period of that 10 days, you keep losing bird. Then after the 10 days, though, thank God I have not witnessed it and I don't pray to witness any of it. You have to wait till your bird is attacked before you vaccinate. Yeah, welcome back. So the vaccine that we use today is a live vaccine. So when you are using and we are administering it via the oral route, that is, we are adding it to their drinking water. Please, if you are using a live vaccine, it must be handled with care, in such a way that when you are giving them the water, you don't allow it to splash on the floor or on their shavings, or in case of if it happens, you have to try as much as possible to remove the wood shavings in that area as soon as possible, because they are live vaccine and they are meant to be inside of the bed. So when they are outside, they attack the bed. So that is why you see some cases of vaccine failure. You will see a farmer that said, after vaccinating my bed, my bed died and all those stuff. So when you are vaccinating, when you are dealing with a live vaccine, you have to be very, very careful. When we went to our agro store to get the vaccine, we make sure that we transport the vaccine in a cold flask. So when you are buying your vaccine, make sure you go with a flask. Why is this important? It is important because you have to maintain the temperature and the effectiveness and potency of the vaccine. So most agro store, most how do I say it, reliable and efficient agro store will never sell vaccine for you if you are not without your flask. So when you are getting those vaccine, make sure you go with your flask. So why does this matter? As I have said, Newcastle disease is highly contagious viral disease that causes respiratory problem, twisted neck, paralysis, and sudden death in poultry. It can spread very rapidly and can wipe out an entire flock if not controlled. On the case of infectious bronchitis, I've said it affects their kidney, their tracts. They won't be able to breathe very well. And if you don't take care of this infectious bronchitis when they are still young, it might lead to poor egg production later in future. So as a farmer, skipping this vaccination risks, you are prone to risks of major losses in your farm, not just in mortality but also in productivity and market value. How do we vaccinate today? The first thing that we did in the morning is that after doing our daily routine, cleaning their feeders, their drinkers and everything, we make sure that there is no water in their butter. We make sure that there is no water, so we feed them. You have to feed them, so immediately they finish eating, the next thing they look for is water. So make sure that they don't see water. We have to starve them of water for about 2 hours. During these 2 hours, you yourself, you even feel pity for them, because you see the eagerness of them. They will be so desperate to get water, so you have to do this. So we give them this vaccine. After getting it, we remove the seal and pour it in a cool water. Please, when you are vaccinating, make sure that your water does not contain chlorine, because if it contains chlorine, it will neutralize the water. It will not make the vaccine, to kill the live vaccine. It will not make it to be efficient. That is why you see some people will say they had milk to their to their vaccination water. Why? Is because this milk is just serving as to dechlorinize the water if the water contains chlorine, and it also serves as adding taste for the birds to give. And again, another important thing that I would tell us is that when you are vaccinating, please don't vaccinate. I myself, I don't, my vaccination, that is the period of time that it will take them to drink that water, is not more, it will not be more than 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes, highest 1 hour. So you make sure that you give them the water that they can drink for a period of that 30 minutes. If you starve them very well, you calculate the number of water that they can drink within that 30 minutes. And if they did not finish up the water in 30 minutes, what you have to do is collect the water, dig a hole, neutralize the water. You can add bleach or whatever neutralizer that you have. You can add it to the water. Then after adding it, I will dig a hole and pour the water, then cover it up with sand. That is how I do it, because if you pour it on an open space, the live vaccine might even attack the birds in your surrounding. So this Newcastle is what I think the Yorubas, we call it coli. There is always this case of coli. Then when you see, there will be a period and you see birds dying, especially this our local fowl, our local chickens. They have twisted neck and they die. So it is a result of Newcastle. So what are the signs of this Newcastle? How do you know that Newcastle is about to happen? One of the early signs that you notice in your bed is that when your bed is eating, they don't starve, and you start noticing a green pool with white something in their pool, then you should know that Newcastle is coming, because immediately it enters, it doesn't go away. That virus is very wicked. It's very, very wicked. What are the early signs of this Newcastle disease? Number one is respiratory sign. You see your bed gasping for air, they are sneezing or coughing, they are having nasal discharge or noisy or labored breathing. See them making that strange noise. And they also show a sign of nervous sign, especially in severe cases, when it becomes so severe. One is that you start saying twisted neck, that is torticollis. You start saying that. Then there is paralysis of the wings and leg. There is tremor or imbalance. They can't stand very well, and they are always cycling and falling over. Another sign that you see is their digestive signs. You start seeing greenish or watery diarrhea. They lose appetite, and they suddenly lose weight. You see the weight losing suddenly. And the signs of the infectious bronchitis, that it's also respiratory sign. They show respiratory signs. They sneeze and snore. They snore as if you even think it's frog that you are having. They they start coughing and gasping for breath. The way they breathe, it's not always fine at all. Then there's always watery eyes and nasal discharge. The key difference between these two diseases, that is the Newcastle disease and the infectious bronchitis, is that you see the Newcastle, it affects multiple systems. It affects the respiratory, the digestive, the nervous system of the chick or the chicken, while the infectious bronchitis is primarily respiratory, and but it can also affect the kidney and reproductive tract that can make you have delay in egg production. That will be all for today. See you in our next video. But before I go, you see, vaccination, when it is done right, I mean very right, is a lifesaver, trust me. But if you skip this step or you don't handle the vaccine properly, you are risking the health, not only the health, but also the productivity of your entire flock. If you are finding this helpful, follow our page and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Oslam Farm for more daily tips and practical guides on poultry farming. Let's grow healthy birds together. See you in our next video. Bye.